What's going on, fellow Arisen? This is Chris Bacon from the Kunai guys, and today we're going to talk about the update that came out for Dogma 2 on September 17th. So I don't have a script today, so I'm going to ramble a little bit, but this is a very meaty update, so we're going to get into it right now. Real fast before we get started, be sure to like and subscribe to the page. This is a new kind of video for me, so let me know how I'm doing. So like I said before, the update came out on September 17, 2024, and it's for PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and Steam. So added features and adjustments. One of the major things they're adding is a casual mode. It's going to have reduced end fees for staying at an inn, reduced price of fairy stones, more difficult for weight carry to become heavy or very heavy, less stamina expended when dashing outside of battle, loss gauge will not increase when selecting load from last save after the Arisen dies, and pawns will recover from Dragon's Plague without a devastating calamity occurring, even if the symptoms progress to its terminal stage. In the fine print, it says you can change the casual mode mid-game from the game settings section of the options in the title menu. However, if you are already playing in casual mode, you will be unable to change to normal mode. There are some trophies or achievements you cannot unlock in this mode. So it seems like they're really trying to up the player base right now, because after the 2-hour free mode they had going for a long time, they're coming out with this casual mode. So it really feels like they're trying to get more people on board before they drop a DLC. Other major updates are they're adding a port crystal to Bak Batal finally. If you play the game, you know there are only 2 native ones in the game, and the rest of them you have to plant yourself. So this is a really big quality of life update that I'm excited for. Next on the list is they're adding Sovereign's Crown, Sovereign's Plate, and Sovereign's Greaves to the list of items that can be traded with the Dragon Forge. So you can go to see Old Man Dragon himself and get these items. Next on the list, adding variations to pawns' auto animations, adding animations for when pawns in the Arisen start dashing, adding animation for when the Arisen is riding on a larger enemy that is flying at high speeds. Also, making it so that the main pawn can be revived an infinite number of times at Forgotten Riftstones. They've also added Polish under display language in the language section of the options menu, fixed issues around CPU overload in certain situations, and reduced frequency of crashes. Now we're moving on to adjustments to vocations. Vocations are the fighting styles you use while playing Dogma 2. You get some in the beginning and you unlock some later on, and you can level all of them up to devastating effects. First off is the fighter vocation. They're increasing the strength for all the weapons, they're reducing the amount of time before stagger damage reactions can be cancelled with defend, reducing charge time for tusk toss, also reducing timing during which the attack can be cancelled while the user is unable to move after activation, increasing strength and knockdown power for Righteous Fury, and improving aiming ability on a target of the attack, making it so that the lock-on adjusts itself to a nearby target if the target initially locked onto is defeated mid-attack. That is actually really good, because right now it's such a huge risk to use the move, because if you miss or the person dodge, you spend half the attack just open swiping at air. Moving along, increasing amount of time an enemy is downed after being knocked down by Shield Bash, also increasing knockdown power for Shield Bash. Increasing aiming ability of Blink Strike upon activation, also adjusting to make it easier to hit locked on targets with this skill. Increasing strength, expanding attack range, improving speed of initial activation animation, and adjusting timing of attack hits for Compass Slash. It actually might make it a good enough move for me to use now. Increasing strength, knockdown power, and expanding attack range for Airward Slash, also intensifying damage reaction for smaller enemies hit by the skill. That's going to be pretty sick when I run up on those ogres. And last but not least, improving speed of the activation animation for Gouging Skewer, also adjusting movement correction for this skill to make it easier to hit the attack target. That is A1. Moving on to the Warrior Vocation, they're going to be extending the input duration for Chain of Blows, reducing timing during which Barge can be cancelled while the user is unable to move after activation, increasing strength for Arc of Might, and adjusting strike timing of Savage Lash, and making it easier to hit targets' enemies' weak points while they are downed. Moving on to the Mage Vocation, they are increasing the duration of the silence debilitation inflicted by Solemnity, increasing distance that flames unleashed by Flagration can reach, increasing number of times that clusters conjured with high palladium to protect allies can block attacks before they disappear, increasing duration of the continuous health recovery effect of Argent Secure, and increasing power of additional lightning bolts summoned with additional button presses when casting Levin. Those last three are really good because I hope that High Palladium goes up from 3 to 6, and I hope that Aid and Secure lasts at least 5 more seconds. I know I'm asking for a lot right now, but Capcom, hold me down. Next is Thief at only 1 update, changing stamina consumed when using Blaze of the Pyre from a fixed amount to an amount proportionate to the user's maximum stamina. And the last vocation when an update this time around is Mystic Spirit Hand, increasing strength and knockdown power for Seeching Blade. Next category is moderations and fixes. I'm going to leave this here for you to read for yourself, but the one I'm most interested in is fixing issue where the Arisen could fail to cling to a target when using Gouging Skewer from a height. Next is the pawn category. I'm going to leave this here for you to read again, but I will point out the ones that I find interesting. First is the fixing issue where pawns given a go command wouldn't gather items. I've definitely noticed that a lot. Another one is fixing the issue where the to me commands after a pawn offered guidance resulted in the pawn not guiding the player correctly, even if the player used the go command. This one is really annoying because you'll be getting led somewhere to a quest or a treasure chest, you'll get into an encounter, and your pawn will totally forget what they were doing, and now you're out in the middle of nowhere, just lost, aimless. Last one I want to take note of is improving pawn lines to better match circumstances. I think this is the pathfinding update, but it is needed because sometimes you can get led someplace and you'll be climbing a cliff 5-6 times and you'll be lost, just lost. For the sake of totality, I'm going to put up all of the parts. So you can look at the NPC part, you can pause to read that. You can look at the enemy part, you can pause to read that. You can look at the quest part, you can pause to read that, as well as gimmicks and display. Another one of my personal favorites is in equipment. Fixing issue where the armor values of cloaks weren't being applied. So now when you look at your gear, you're going to see accurate numbers for your character. The last 3 categories are UI, user interface, sounds, and other. This should be on the screen now so you can pause to read. And this last one was attached to the CPU overload issue. Frame rates in areas with a lot of NPCs, such as town centers, should be improved. In addition, turning their graphics setting to low should further improve frame rates. Players on Steam can achieve the same results from changing their graphics settings. That last one is really good news for people who went into towns and had their computers and consoles screaming at them for it. Overall, I think this was a good update. It had a lot of good things in it. Not everything we wanted, but there's still hope for a DLC. After Suno-san left Capcom, people were worried, but this means that at least they're on the right track. Alright, well, I think that's mostly it. Go to my page, I did make a video about fighting a fucking griffin. That shit sucked, but I think it's hilarious. What was your favorite part of this update? Let me know in the comments below. While you're down there, you might as well tell me your favorite builds anyway, for science. If you're a fan of Dragon's Dogma 2, use a heavy attack on the like or subscribe buttons. I can't make you choose, I don't have the God's way, but any one of those will bring you closer to reclaiming the throne. I'm Chris, this is the Kunai guys. Stand strong, fellow Arisen.